as you come in, I would love for you to think through the homework, if you did the journaling exercises. And the main question was to look at where in your life either you feel like you're at this expansion point and you want your life force to really animate this next phase of your life, this next expression, whether it's your love life or your finances or your career, your business, your relationships, whatever it is. Or if there's one area of your life that you feel like, I really haven't been able to crack that code. Like my life force isn't fully there. It's not fully where I want it to be. I got some good questions in emails and DMs about how does this apply? Please share more on this. So I do want to answer some questions today. But we'll start by recapping, and I'll give you a bit of a lay of the land. Where's the chat? There we go. Are we situated? We're situated. Okie dokie. I'm sorry, I'm really having trouble with this right now. There. All right, cool. If I sit back here, can you hear me? Still good to hear me? Cool. Okay. Okay. So, reminder, this is day 2 of 2 of Invisible Power. Yesterday, we really talked about the framework of sovereign power. We talked about your sovereign power circuit and how your life force energy, the energy that breathes life into you, must flow through this full circuit for you to just be in your power. It's like the minimum requirement. And that power circuit is your body, your heart, and your mind. And when your life force flows through your body, your heart, and your mind, that's when you are sovereign, that's when you're in your power, and you are integrated in your 3 primary intelligences: somatic intelligence, emotional intelligence, mental intelligence. These are the 3 intelligences that our society is aware of. Now, as a culture, as a collective group of people, most of us are disconnected in some way. Unconsciously, we might feel like we're in our power, and then, we go to speak our truth in an intimate way, and we're going to clench up. Because what are they going to think? And how will this be received? Or you have an intuitive idea, and you work in a corporate setting, and you want to take it to your boss or to the CEO, but the numbers don't back it up. The logic, the mental intelligence doesn't back up this intuitive knowing or this intuitive idea. So you keep it to yourself. I've seen this time and time again. So to reiterate, most of us in some way, shape, or form, in some area of our life, are not in our full power. We are not fully integrated in our intelligence, mind, heart, body. Now, after that, just getting to your sovereign power, then we introduced the 2 missing intelligences. These 2 intelligences that have been honored and respected and really harnessed in ancient civilizations that have thrived. And they're intelligences that we need to harness now in order to create a world we want to live in, create a sustainable business, have relationships that thrive. This relates to every aspect of life because we are an evolving species. So these 3 primary intelligences are not enough anymore to take us where we want to go. And these two missing intelligences are our intuitive intelligence, which has access to infinite information, and our erotic intelligence, which has access to infinite creative potential. So again, when we put it that way, it's really not too hard to see why leaders of the next generation, whether we're leading our own lives, our families, our companies, our businesses, a team, leaders of the next generation must harness intuitive intelligence and erotic intelligence. So today I'm going to focus mainly on the erotic intelligence part, because this is what's the most shunned in our society, or highly distorted and misunderstood. Before we do that, I want to take one or two questions or examples and kind of do a live life force reading to take your symptom and tune in and trace it through this power circuit to show you kind of in real time how I do this with clients. And you can see how these begin to weave together. Because I could have an entire curriculum training practitioners on this. It's very multi-layered. We can't fully go there today, but I also want you to experience it a little bit. Then we can go more into the erotic intelligence and then do the guided activation at the end. Yes, please. Okay, cool. So there was one question that was posed at the end of day one that I do want to address. And that was, I think it was something about intuitive intelligence. Oh, how do we strengthen or harness our intuitive intelligence when the default is to go into fear and shut it down? Whoever asked that yesterday, are you on the call right now? Raise your hand or say me in the chat if you are. Lauren, all right, do you want to come be in the hot seat? And
sure, I'd love to.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to show us in real time how this works. Well, now I can't. You're getting no sound. Is anyone else not getting sound?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Sound is on. Y'all are fine.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I think some people might be in and out. Okay. Oh, now I have to find you. Where did you go? Say something again.
I'm here.
Okay. Well, I can't see you, so that's a bummer. How do I? Ooh, Lauren Bruce.
Yes.
Okay, I clicked through and I found you. I'm hoping it can stay on you. There, let's see if that works. Okay. So I'm going to ask you some questions about how this shows up for you and kind of paint a picture of how I can trace this through your power circuit. First, I want to ask you, when you are tuning into your intuition and fear kicks in, what is the fear? How does it show up in your body? How does that tangibly show up for you?
I would say that it's a unlocking of clairs that are new, that are experiences that I've never had in the past, and they're getting stronger and more intense. And my cognitive mind kicks in to say, this isn't normal, or I'm unsure of how to navigate it because of the intensity of it. And the feeling in my body could be, I can feel every single cell vibrating simultaneously.
Perfect. This is a perfect example because I've dealt with this with almost every person I've worked with at some point. So this is the perfect example. Thank you for asking. So first, let's talk about fear. Fear is something that usually shows up in all three centers. There's a story, a mental belief, or a story that's this isn't real, or I don't mentally understand it, so I can't trust it. There's probably some kind of emotion of, am I going to be judged for this? Is this crazy? I don't know that I really trust myself right now. And there's something in the body that's saying, this is a lot of energy. This is sensational intensity. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of sensation. There's a lot of data. Because remember, intuitive intelligence accesses infinite data. If your nervous system is only accustomed to transmitting, to feeling, to sensing a small amount of data or of sensory input at a time, it can be very destabilizing to the nervous system when this infinite information starts to come in. So do we see how this can relate to all three of the centers? Okay, and that's why I say when our three centers are fully intact, when our power circuit is intact, and we can run our life force through it seamlessly, the intuitive intelligence turns on. So my guess is that you've done enough internal work, for lack of a better phrase, bringing yourself into your sovereign power such that your clairs, your intuitive senses are coming online. And now it's like, well, wait a minute. This is brushing up against some things that are still in my mind or still in my body in this nervous system connection where I have to increase my capacity. So one is going to be rewriting the stories that your mind is telling you about the data that's coming in that your mind doesn't have access to. Because what's happening is your higher mind, the higher intelligence is like, bang, we're getting this insight. And the finite human mind is like, this doesn't fit our constructs. I don't have a box to put this in. So it's not safe, it's not valid. I'm going to shut it down because I'm comfortable here. So as that happens, the natural progression is to start over at a higher level, meaning create a new sense of safety in the body and in the nervous system so that you can regulate your nervous system so that as more energy, more intuitive information, more senses, more sensory information comes in, you know how to regulate your nervous system to feel safe in your body. You're increasing your capacity. Then we move up to the heart. What are the emotions around this? Most of us, when it comes to intuition, we have a really big fear of our own power. Either because of ancestral stuff, historical stuff, past life stuff, where our intuitive power was shunned, was shut down. There's some kind of emotion here that needs to be addressed. So your life force is like, we're going back to the primary circuit. You create more capacity in the body, in the nervous system, you feel safe. Then it goes up into the heart. What are my emotions about this? Let's feel that and clear that up. Then we go into the mind. What stories have been told about this? Let's rewrite the code, rewrite the program. I trust my intuitive senses. I feel safe in my body. I know that because I am grounded and safe in my body, and because I know how to regulate my own emotions, that I can safely and accurately tune into intuitive information and take action on it. This is flexing a muscle. So that's why I said yesterday, even though a lot of us might feel connected intuitively, it's infinite. So right now, in your experience, you're connecting intuitively and you're meeting your upper limit. You're meeting your edge. And so your default is to shut down because you're not safe. And that's showing you where your power circuit is off. When we basically go back to basics and look at how it's showing up in your body, heart, and mind, address those to bring it into harmony in a bigger capacity, you move through that upper limit and you're able to receive and transmit more intuitive information because it's just more voltage going through that same circuit. Intuitive information comes through a full embodied channel. Is this landing? Is this making sense so far?
Yes, it resonates very deeply.
Okay. Any questions?
I guess the one last part of being in fear is if you receive a message that actually is fearful. So for example, you gave the example yesterday about like prophecies. Like if you saw something that actually is a fearful situation, I guess navigating a message that you maybe don't feel like you have the capacity to hold.
Fantastic question. So this comes down to several things. So this would be in a one-on-one session with you, we could go into all the layers. For now, I'm going to try to make this as widely applicable as possible. A high level of discernment is required when increasing your intuitive capacity. Because remember, it's infinite. And not everything out there is love and light. So I like to set really strong boundaries with intuitive information. And I've been this way for years. I have set a boundary for my oracle, my channel, to only receive information on an as needed basis. I don't want to walk in and feel and sense and see everything for everyone all the time, uninterested. That's how it was when it's unharnessed. When you're accessing your intuitive intelligence, but it's not harnessed and channeled, that's when it's overwhelming. It can be scary. People talk about, well, I'll go there later. It's sensory overload. You can get anxiety because you then have to learn how to have boundaries with what information is coming in. Now, that's also where discernment comes in. Is this truth? Is one, does this feel true in my body? Okay, well, if it's truth and you have an emotional response to it, look at your emotional response. That goes back to the heart. Now, as an oracle and somebody who does have the gift of prophecy, yes, there are things that I have seen and sensed and felt. And my first question is, what is important for me to know about this? How can I utilize this information for the highest good? Ask the question. If you don't get a good answer to that, put it aside. Or it might be, this is something for you to know because part of your calling is to help do something about it. Or it might be, hey, say something to this certain person. But this is where we learn to have sovereignty, which again means of our own authority. Have sovereignty over your intuitive intelligence so that you are still in charge and you are still in control. Does that make sense?
Yes, amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Okay, did that land for anybody else? That's super common. How do I get back to, here we go. Oh, now I can see all. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Does anyone else, I want to do one more. Landed. Have any either question or example or something that came up about how this is showing up in your life? Either an area of your life that doesn't feel like it's fully there, or you're at an expansion point and like, yeah, I'm ready to step into this new thing. Ooh, wait, somebody sent me an email and it was really good. I read it this morning. What was the question? If you're here, you can ask it. Does anybody want to share? Come in the hot seat and let's trace this. Totally at an expansion point. Josie, there you are. It was you. You sent the email. Where are you? Go ahead and unmute. Yes,
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about the light. Yes, so my email was quite long. So
The
I
part
think,
about the finances.
yes. Okay, so it's this thing that I tend to attract situations where I'm landing and I'm fully doing what I'm supposed to. Like, I feel like that's what I'm here for, but I finish in a situation where my surrounding appreciates me a lot, but they say, well, we can't pay you for that. So yeah, it's like I find the spot where I want to work and want to like be an influence, but well, I don't get what I need to live in this world nowadays. Let's say it like this.
Perfect.
So
So when you ask that, what I hear is, I feel like I'm in my purpose. I feel like I'm doing good work. It's valuable. People see the value, but they're not paying me my value.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This is something I see a lot. And this comes down to several things. What's most important right now? I'm just going to trace this through through your circuit. Okay. So when I watch your life force come into your body at the point of inception, which was your birth, I see it come in. I see it, okay, as it starts to root down through the body, I'm seeing something through the maternal line around self-worth. And some kind of belief system around almost what it means to be a woman. And now let me know how this lands, because I don't know your family. I'm just tracing the energetics. You might be aware of this, you might not, but let me know. So what I'm seeing is something through the maternal line around self-worth and what it means to be a woman, and almost this, and it might be unconscious or subconscious, but this need to nurture, to give, to be loving, to extend yourself to where it's not fully reciprocal, and there's almost like this fear of selfishness or this discomfort in even asking for what your needs are, for your needs to be met. Is this landing?
A lot. Yes.
A lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with these emotions and these thoughts
Yes.
within yourself?
Yes.
Okay. So we can't do a full session right now. Now, if we were one-on-one, what I would do is just trace that life force. Anywhere it hits one of those things, we'd clear that, the life force would move, and then inevitably the pattern would cease. So for now, to paint this picture, because I think it is widely applicable when it comes to money. In our society, money is so tied to self-worth, to status. And money is not inherently tied to any of those things. In our culture, it is, because the broken system that we live in is one of power over another, and the means of exchange that is utilized to have power over another is money. The powers that be, again, I'm making some big claims here, so just track with me. The powers that be, who created the broken system that they benefit from and make billions off of, have taken the natural world and sold it back to us. Food grows on trees and from the earth for free. Oh, we're going to take all the land and then we're going to sell you back plots of land or food, all these different things. Now, this is a very big picture. It's nuanced, but allow me to just paint the picture. So money has become something that if you have it, you have status. And if you have it, you have power. And if you have it, you can meet your survival needs. Whereas money is really a means of exchange. So the first thing that we want to do is extract our self-worth from the dollar amount. I've done this in my own business, both in raising my prices and in lowering my prices. There was a time where I was like, I've healed so many things with money, and I truly know my worth. I truly know my value, and I am only available for a fully reciprocal exchange. That's where boundaries come in. If you are willing to provide value, knowing you are not receiving something that feels reciprocal, that comes down to you upholding your own boundaries. That's kind of a harsh truth. And I know there's all kinds of circumstances and situations and things that play into this, but ultimately, if you hold your worth and you hold your power and you know what that is from a humble place, from a grounded place, from a I don't need anyone to validate my value. I don't need anyone to validate my worth. I don't need anyone to hire me for this because I know my value and I am only available for a fully reciprocal exchange. That is your power circuit fully intact. And guess what you're going to attract? Someone else who's fully in their power circuit, and there is a mutual reciprocal exchange. Now, as I've helped done this again myself, there's no possible way I could speak on this if I haven't experienced it, and clients as well, I've literally seen this shift overnight. I had a woman come in, this was years ago, she was struggling in her business. She's brilliant, knew her services, knew all of these things, but was so struggling to charge properly and to ask for a fully reciprocal exchange. She would over-explain herself and the pricing. She felt like she had to justify it because she wasn't fully comfortable with it within. That's where the power circuit was broken, plugging into external forces, wanting someone else to validate the worth, someone else to validate the price, right? This is unconscious. And what we did was trace her life force through her power circuit, through her body, and we traced it back to actually a past life where something was happened. It wasn't fully healed. We cleared that energy. It could flow properly. I think it was within a week. She like 6x'd her revenue. She created a new offer, sold it out at a higher price. It was immediate. And so these things can seem so personal and so nuanced, but when we can take ourselves out of it and realize what I'm experiencing is really not anything out of the ordinary. This is something that so many people experience, Can I just be the neutral observer and see where this is coming from within myself? And then the finances, the actual tangible money part can begin to shift. Now, this is a good segue. Is this landing so far?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Questions?
Yes.
Any
No.
questions on that? No?
No.
Okay, cool. I'm going to mute you because this is a perfect transition. Thank you for asking that. Excuse me. Close that. So this is the perfect segue into erotic intelligence. Oh, that's good. Okay. So far, do we see how we can trace pretty much anything in our lives back to our power circuit? Now, you might not know how to do that yourself, because that takes a lot more teaching than a 1-hour masterclass. But do we see how this framework is applicable to different areas of your life, and being able to trace it to where you're not fully in your power within yourself? Yes, no, maybe? Yes? Okay. Great. Oh my God, that went fast. Y'all, we might go over today. We might go over today. We're gonna go over today. So I'm gonna do the activation at the end. I'll let you know when that's time, but I really want to get through all of this because it's just so important. And y'all, let's just pep talk for a minute. The reason I'm so passionate about this is that you have something that is needed in the world, in your family, in your own life. It is needed. We need what you have to bring. We need your gifts, your message, your services, your ideas, your thought leadership, the way that you lead a community or a family. We need it. And this next generation of leaders are being called into their post right now. It is time to take your post, as big or as small as it might seem to you. Please do not underestimate the impact that it has on your friends, your family, your community, your company, the world, when you harness your sovereign power. I cannot overemphasize this. And my God, I am so tired of watching people get in their own damn way unconsciously. And I do it too, y'all. I'm part of this. This is a we thing. We're all in this together. I'm in my next big up level. And it's big and it's intimidating. And it's time. It is time. We have trained for this. So wherever you start like taking something personally, or this is uncomfortable or whatever, dude, dive in, because it's too important. It's too important. All right, there's my cheerleader pep talk. You're speaking into what I've been feeling. Perfect. Okay, so let's talk about erotic intelligence. Oh, sorry, hold on. Yes, sin drei lau or boy gian drei, she sin drei, ki drei lai gian drei, lau or boy gian drei, chi drei, si lau or boy gian drei, chin drei sai lau or boy gian drei. Okay, so that is an example of my logical mind doing what is planned, intuition coming in with infinite data and being like, yo, there's more data here. And you watched me in real time allow the logical to go aside and the infinite to come in And now I'm assessing, okay, where do we want to go? Because it's not what my logical mind had planned. All right, close your eyes. Take a breath. And call all of your energy, all of your awareness, all of your consciousness into your heart space. Allowing any of the open tabs in your brain to begin to shut down. Bringing all of your awareness into the present moment. And as you bring all of your awareness into the present moment, call upon the energy of your life force. This infinite force of life that flows through you, that animates you. And you might feel, sense, see, or imagine it as a color, as a frequency, as a sensation. And invite that life force to begin to come in to your body, into your center line of energy. Your center line of energy is like your energetic spine that goes all the way up into source and all the way down into the earth. And invite your life force to come in to your center line and move all the way down. Down through the center line of energy. Noticing if it comes up against any blocks, if it loops out anywhere, if it maybe shape shifts and goes in a different direction. Just gently, lovingly, with your breath and with your awareness, inviting your life force to move down. Down through your center line of energy until it gets to the core of the earth where you are anchored in the physical plane. And we're just allowing our awareness to make this connection and show us if we come up against anything that might be prohibiting the free flow. As a neutral observer. And then we'll invite this life force to come up through the center line of energy. And also move through your body, through your feet, through your legs, your knees. Through your hips, your genitals, your tailbone, your spine. Filling your ribs, your back, your neck, your chest. Expanding out through the shoulders, the arms, the hands, the fingers. Coming up through the heart. expanding through the field of your heart. Noticing how your life force moves through your heart. Do you notice any blocks, anywhere that it goes in a different direction? Anywhere that it doesn't quite fully flow? And as your life force fills the field of your heart, it animates your emotional intelligence. And as your life force moves through the body, it's animating your somatic intelligence. And we can just imagine as our life force moves through our body, moves through our center line, moves through different parts of our body, we'll see it light up. And we're just going to notice any areas that it doesn't fully light up, just being the observer. Inviting the life force to move up through the throat, the neck, the jaw, up through the face, through the eyes, through your brain, through every crevice of your brain. Expanding through your mental field, activating your mental intelligence, noticing any areas where it doesn't fully light up, where life force doesn't fully flow. Or where it might flow in a way that feels limiting or constricted. Allowing yourself to do your own body scan as we invite life force to move through the body, the heart, and the mind, and then circling back down from the mind to the heart, down through the body. And on the next few breaths, we're going to move and channel our own life force through this power circuit. And on the inhale, the life force will move up through body, heart, mind. And on the exhale, move down from the mind, heart, to the body. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Last one, inhaling up. Exhaling down. Now sit here, allowing your life force to flow through you, to flow through your integrated intelligence. And noticing how your life force just kind of knows what to do, as long as it has a clear pathway. And notice how when your life force meets an area that it can't fully flow, that with simple breath and awareness, it can begin to work through that. Perhaps an image comes to mind, or a memory, or an emotion, or a belief, or a thought pattern. we begin to see how the infinite intelligence of your life force knows how to move through you. And feel this integrated intelligence. Feel this sovereign power circuit. And feel how your light bulb turns on. This is your sovereign power. This is integrated intelligence. Receive a breath. Let it go. Receive a few more breaths as you begin to open your eyes and come back into the room, into this space. And put in the comments, how was that for you? Did you notice any areas that didn't light up or that it didn't fully flow? Did you feel your integrated power circuit? Do you feel what it feels like to be in integrity within your own sovereign power? Light and bright, moving through blocks, feel the energy. Definitely blocks in the lower part of my body, womb, bowels. Right side of the heart at first, but it opened up quickly. Avoided the sexual hips region. Perfect segue. Felt resistance around the womb. Okay. So this, hold on, I want to read that one. Ooh, this is great. Okay, wait. OMG, I felt magnetic pull from feet to earth. Felt like I took the space of the entire room. Consciousness wasn't limited in my head, but the entire room. Yes, we're feeling the expanse. Opened up the whole left side of the body. So deeply empowering, calming, centering. Felt a lot of blocks in the back of my heart, but was able to let it flow. I could feel the life force, but as separated from my body. Like at some point, I may have decided not to let it flow within my body again. Is that possible? Yes, it is. That is the somatic intelligence. And when our life force first comes into form in this life, it has to first anchor through the body. Most people, it never properly anchors through the body, which is why we collectively live in a trauma response. Does that make sense? Most people are not fully anchored in their body, and we don't even know it. So that's a perfect example. At some point, you probably didn't feel safe in your body. I see this a lot with either childhood trauma, and y'all, trauma, capital T, lowercase t, something that happened that was unresolved. You had an emotion or an event or energy, some experience that you didn't know how to regulate your nervous system. You probably didn't have a parent that knew how to help you co-regulate to feel safe in your body. So that energy got stuck in the body and it's prohibiting life force from flowing. This is 99.9% of the population. This especially happens with people who are super psychic, super intuitive. And since you never fully root down and your life force doesn't fully root through your body, you're fully separate and you're living, floating around in these higher consciousness planes of existence and you struggle to ground, you struggle to articulate it, you struggle to bring that to the world because you don't feel safe in the body. It's a full disconnect. That is why so many people have a fear of their intuitive intelligence, because we're not rooted enough in the body to feel safe with it. We short circuit. We have anxiety or a panic attack. I've lived this. That's why when people come to me for intuitive development, we don't just go right into the clairs. We have to let our life force fully root through our body, or you're just going to short circuit your system. Okay. Blocks in the left side, lower body, felt it working through, blocked from the heart down, still buzzing. Field is on fire, flames at the palms, lighting up. All of the parts in the body, which I know and feel are blocking. Heart, throat, brain, felt powerful flow, resonates. Feeling lavish in my cryptic crystal palace. Makes sense, thought I healed it, but I feel where it's coming from. Leaving pattern. Bam, mic drop, leaving pattern. You don't feel safe, so you leave. You either leave your body and disassociate, you leave the moment and go into your head, into the past or into the future instead of being present. You leave a relationship because this is too much for my system to handle. Leaving pattern. My chi is super low. I've been working on it, but it's like a roller coaster. I get it back, then feel like, great, I'm good. Stop doing the things to heat my fire, and then I lose it again. So right now, dysregulated nervous system. What you're talking about resonates. Okay, great. If your chi is low, which is another word for energy for life force, and you have trouble cultivating it, I would go to the body. Because remember, if we take this in linear order, life force comes in through sex, which is through the genitals. Look at the first, imagine the umbilical cord. This is how I see it. When I trace somebody's life force through their body, I first see it enter below the belly button. And then I trace it down through their grounding cord, through their root chakra, through their body, and then up into the heart, up into the mind, and it cycles back. Now, for a lot of people, there's birth trauma that you might not even be aware of. But when the life force comes in at that first entry point of being born, there's birth trauma. Whether that's your mother's trauma as she was giving birth, or trauma that you came through as you were birthed. And so from the first incarnation of this life force in physical form, it's already disrupted. So a lot of people come in and we rewrite their birth story because that's like the root of them not feeling fully safe in their body, and it disrupts the entire flow of their life force. Is this making sense? Yeah, landing, cool. Resonates a lot. I feel like our birth is where a lot of us disconnect from our bodies. Yeah. Our entry into our body, into the world is usually numbed or really intense. Exactly. Do you have an impulse around skin and troubles there? Hold on, let me read all the questions. Light language kicking in. Pregnancy trauma. Wow, okay, this is all making sense. Skin, that one I would want to trace personally, because oftentimes with skin, when a symptom shows up physically, it's likely been around a while, because everything is energy first and then manifests physically. So if something is physically showing up in your body as a symptom, it's likely something that either has been passed down or that you've held in your body for a really long time. So I would trace this with you personally in a life force reading, and we could clear that up. Sometimes skin can especially around the face, is the way that you present yourself to the world or the way that you are seen. It's nuanced though, so I don't want to give an overarching answer for that. But all of this is basically what I do in a life force reading. So I'll just talk about that for a second. You'll see that on the replay page. That's one of my new one-on-one offerings. I haven't opened up one-on-one offerings to the public in years. This has been only private clients or referrals or people coming back. So this is very new and very exciting to go through this framework because it's so efficient. It's so efficient. So I am opening up 10, only 10 one-on-one sessions to do a life force reading, which is this. I trace your life force from inception through your power circuit, clean up the things that need to be cleaned up so that you can be in your sovereign power and get to where it is that you're wanting to go in a session. 10 of them are available. You will see the link on the replay page. We're between now and the end of the year. First availability is Monday and Tuesday. This will sell out. Hop on it if this is something that you desire. All of this is at a fraction of the price that I have been charging for the last 3 or 4 years, like half. So I highly recommend, if working one-on-one has been on your radar, do not pass it up. Now, if you win the giveaway for a session and you've already purchased one, we'll just refund you. So don't wait to see if you won the giveaway. There's only so many spots. Get it if you know that you want this. Okay, cool. Now, time. Damn, we're gonna go over, but that's okay. Are y'all here for it? We did some experience. I really want to talk about erotic intelligence. Okay, we're here for it. Okay. Now that you know what your integrated power feels like in your body, you sensed your own blocks. This is a practice you can take into your own life. The reason we do this first is because if I come and I'm like, let's do an activation, and we run this high voltage, sexual, erotic, creative, infinite life force energy through your system, through a disconnected power circuit or through a power circuit that has a lot of blocks in it, it's gonna kick up your trauma, and it can be a re-traumatizing experience. It can short circuit your system. I know this because I've experienced it. So as much as we want to get to the intuitive intelligence and the erotic intelligence, it would be out of integrity for me to just blast you with an activation if you don't first have a handle on your own internal integrated power. Makes sense so far? Okay, so now that you know how to do that, simple exercise. Running the life force through, bringing it into a closed circuit. That's it. You do that once a day, you're good. Now, let's talk about sexual energy. Sexual energy is literally the way that creation takes place. Sexual energy is your life force flowing through your sexual organs. So it's a part of the body. So if your primary somatic intelligence is not fully intact. You don't feel fully safe in your body. You have trauma that's unresolved. Again, most of us do. Then you're probably a little bit disconnected from your sexual energy. This can show up in two ways. Fully shut down. Don't go there. Shame, judgment, taboo. I don't want to be sexual. I'm not fully in my body. Have sex with the lights off. That's kind of one end of the spectrum. Or just numb. No sexual desire, no libido, no desire, none of it. It's just like under lock and key. Other end of the spectrum is high sex drive, super sexual. Maybe you're promiscuous. Maybe you have sex with a lot of different people. And for you, it feels like sexual liberation and sexual power is about doing whatever I want with my sexual energy. That's actually the other end of the spectrum of a disconnect. A disconnect between sex and heart. Follow me. Life force through sexual organs is sexual energy. If your sexual energy is only being expressed from your body without a heart connection, your sexual energy is being expressed through selfish desire alone. Because the root chakra, the body, it's about survival. It's about what do I need to survive? Selfish, not bad. Selfish is focused on self. This feels good. This is pleasurable. I want it. But maybe there's not an emotional connection. I see this show up with a lot of people with either sex or porn addiction. Is you might think, oh, I'm really in my sexual power, when really it has control over you. You don't have control over it. It's not channeled through the heart. When sexual, are you following me so far? Any questions so far? Okay. When sexual energy, again, life force, through sexual organs, which is a part of the body, which is a part of the somatic intelligence, when it flows through an integrated heart and body, heart and sex, that activates erotic intelligence. Sexual energy alone, life force just through sex, that's not erotic intelligence. That's somatic intelligence. It's the sexual expression of a physical somatic thing. Eros is not sex. Eros is passionate love. Eros is when your life force flows through your heart and body, sex, together. This is what creates a fulfilling sexual relationship. Most people that I've worked with that have a lot of sex, they're actually unconsciously having sex in order to fill a void in the heart. They're deeply craving intimacy. They're deeply craving love, or they don't feel lovable. They don't feel enough. So they have sex to feel connection. Now, this isn't everybody, but it paints a picture. In a world where we have been conditioned to disconnect our heart from our sex. Again, you're a slut if you do, you're a prude if you don't. Or in some cultures for men, you're respected if you do, but you judge her when she does too. Now men are judged for this too. We just have slightly different programming around it. But there's religious programming around sex. There's, you know, men are promised 12 virgins if they're virtuous or whatever. There's all kinds of things about sex. And the core wound of the collective, as I've done a lot of readings and traced all these woundings and all the things, is the disconnect between heart and sex. That's shutting off our erotic intelligence. The erotic intelligence is infinite creative potential through the heart, which ensures it's for the highest good of all. This erotic intelligence doesn't seek to create for selfish gain. This erotic intelligence seeks to create through love. This is why we see in thriving ancient civilizations romance and love letters and true courting and flowers and senses and chocolate and fruit and naked women and art and all the things. It was revered. It was held as sacred. And it is sacred. And this erotic intelligence is what is required of the next wave of leaders. Because without this intelligence, we are still creating from our wounding. Either we're creating from a selfish place, only concerned with self and survival, or we're creating from a place of still giving our power away and seeking love, seeking validation, seeking self-worth. It's not gonna last. I experienced an increase in sexual energy after my creativity sparked and after I birthed my child. Yes. At first, attached it to the physical act, but there's not a healthy balance there. Then I was informed it has a connection to source, but I don't know how to connect that or harness it. Great. So, what time is it? We're only a little bit over so far. Let me first say, this is an entire body of work. An entire body of work. This is usually what people come to me one-on-one for. And the power circuit is our first step. And then through our time together, as we close all of that up, you learn how to channel your sexual energy. We can't talk about channeling our sexual energy if our circuit is not connected, because it's just going to leak into these different places. And we're not here to leak sexual energy. Look around at the world. We see where that has gotten us. Unequal power dynamics. I'm not going to run your sexual energy and help you run that and activate that through your body through a broken circuit. It's not a good idea. So the way that we do that, and this is actually, well, that ties in well, the second one-on-one offering is a 3-month mentorship called Rapture, the Rapture mentorship. I have a whole body of work on erotic intelligence and Rapture that I am dying to share, and I can't in this limited amount of time, but it's big and it's powerful and it's exciting. But let me just define Rapture. I'm going to go off on a tangent for a second because I just geek out about this. So most of us, when we hear the word rapture, we're like, what is that? Or you get it confused with rupture, which is a break, which is not the same. Or you think of one of the, I think it's a Christian ideology of the rapture is the second coming of Christ, when believers go to heaven and the rest, I don't know, maybe go to hell. I'm not really sure what that story is, but that's what most people think about when you hear the word rapture. Now, I actually come from a Christian upbringing. I haven't read the Bible, so I don't really know what it says. But I'll tell you my perspective on the rapture because I think it's important. I do believe in the second coming of Christ, meaning accessing Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness is creator consciousness through unconditional love. What did we just talk about? Harnessing your life force, your sexual energy through your body connected to your heart, so that we're accessing infinite creative potential through love. That's Christ consciousness. Rapture. Oh, this is landing. Yes. Rapture, which again has been related to the second coming of Christ, i.e., accessing Christ consciousness, which is creator consciousness through unconditional love. Rapture is the state of being. Rapture is the state of being when you channel your life force through sex and heart in such a way that it pierces through the mind completely and accesses the infinite. Consider orgasm. If you have ever had a truly connected, loving, heart-connected sexual experience, that peak experience of orgasm, you're not thinking about your to-do list. You are not in your mind. You access a state of consciousness beyond the human mind. The state of being that you are in at that time is a state of rapture. I love this stuff. I love this stuff. We did this at my last retreat. We had a whole rapture experience. But I think it's so important to take what we've been told and clear it up a little bit. It's not very far-fetched. Look at a flower. A flower that's blooming and blooming and blooming. When it bursts open into a flower, rapture. The Big Bang, rapture. Creation, the quantum field coming into form, rapture. Is this landing? So the rapture mentorship, the rapture state of being, is the natural byproduct of running your life force through your sovereign power circuit, harnessing your sexual energy through heart and sex to activate erotic intelligence. The erotic intelligence naturally knows how to create through love and get you into this state of rapture. That is when you're magnetic. That is when the world bends to your will and desire. That is when your manifestations come into form like it's freaking magic, because you've harnessed your own creator consciousness within your own sovereign power in your body. I am fully convinced that my mission right now is to lead the rapture. Not the way we've been told by old school religious traditions, but to lead people home to themselves in their sexual sovereignty, in their sovereign power to reach a state of rapture, which creates from infinite creative potential through unconditional love for the highest good of all. I am sold on this. Sexual energy, fully fucking harnessed. This is the way. But look at everything we had to talk through to build the framework to even be able to introduce sexual energy and erotic intelligence. It's a process. Really love listening to you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. You're speaking my language. Holy fuck, I'm here for this. Okay, great. Okay, we're 16 minutes over. I've experienced this. Thoughts on how you can stay in it and also not chase the feeling when life is life. Yes. So one, as long as you're chasing something, you're holding it outside of yourself. So that's the first thing, is like, look at the direction of the energy, because it's not something outside of yourself. It's a state of being within. My primary channeling state is an erotic transmission, and I am in a state of rapture. It's very sensual. It looks a lot like this and my mind is gone and I'm in it. And that's how infinite intelligence pours through me. I'm in this state of rapture. I'm super connected to myself and like magic happens. I think that says goosebumps. So yeah, the chasing it is outside of yourself. Goosebumps. The harnessing it. The short answer is keep practicing your power circuit and closing up those blocks so that you can run more and more voltage through your system, because sexual energy is high voltage. Like that's electricity. And think of like a lightning or like power lines. If you run electricity through a power line, but it's not anchored into the earth, everywhere, it can't flow. Longer answer is, if you want support with this, talk to me, because I opened up 3 spots, only 3, for a 3-month mentorship, the Rapture mentorship. And this is where we bring all aspects of your life together through this framework. So whether you have a goal about your finances or your business or calling in your soulmate or any area of life, doesn't matter. I think by now we can see how this translates into every aspect of your life. This is where for 3 months, you and I, one-on-one, we go there. The first session is a life force reading, so I can see all the intricacies of what's happening. Then we see, okay, here's what we're going to clear up and how we're going to activate and what we're going to do over the next 3 months to get you from where you are to where you want to go. So that is by application only. I will be very transparent here. For the last 3 or 4 years, my one-on-one mentorships have been a 5 to 6 figure investment. This is a fraction of that price, and it is under 10 grand for 3 months. Get your application in. These will sell out. I'm bringing y'all on now. We're going to start in January, but I imagine this is going to fill very, very quickly. So if this is speaking to you, fill out the application. It's on the replay page as well. Hit me up with questions, y'all. I geek out over this stuff. Let me know how this is landing. Ask me what you think might be the most supportive route to take if you do want to go further in this work. And this is, no, not right now. Not right now. That's a real-time example of infinite intelligence coming in and me holding boundaries around what we're not going to do right now. So there's an example. Okay, we are over. Does anybody have any questions? Unmute, talk to me. If you feel complete, you're welcome to hop off. If anyone has any questions about the offerings, about how this applies to you, about anything at all, I'm happy to stick around for a few minutes and answer questions. You're here, but you're not asking anything. Do we just want to hang out?
Hi,
question. You go ahead.
I was just going to ask, what kind of investment is your life force energy reading?
That's a great question. I should look this up. I think it's $549. Okay. Yes, it's $549 for the reading. And that's a tune-up as well. Yeah. And then you can get a recording of that also.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Is our name automatically added to like a raffle or something for the one-on-one?
Yes, thank you for asking. If you entered into the giveaway by sharing or whatever, each of those was an entry. For every day that you show up live, that is an entry. So I believe either tonight or tomorrow, my team will take the names and do whatever the electronic thing is to pick. And then we'll let you know probably via email and Instagram if you won that reading. But again, if you know that you want one, I would go ahead and buy one, like sign up, because I'm only doing 10, including the one giveaway. And then if you win, we'll refund you.
All right, cool. Sounds good.
Okay. In the reading, you're clearing things out when going through, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's a very efficient process. Now, it also depends on your goal and your intention for coming in. Some people come in and they really want clarity about things. And they really want clarity. And they're like, oh my God, yes, I see how that's playing out. I see that. I did it. I see it. That's really helpful for me to like do something different. Other people come in and they're like, dude, this one thing, I know what it is. I want to clear it. So it's more fine-tuned. Everyone is different. I follow the energy and do what we need to do. It is more intelligent than I am. We just trust the flow of infinite intelligence and we do what needs to be done in that time. And it's very efficient. But I will say it's not enough time and space to fully redo your system. It would be out of integrity for me to fully redo your system in that short amount of time anyways, because you have to integrate it. So we'll do whatever tweaks that can be done and that will have a profound impact. But for real, lasting, sustainable, like I want to shift my life in this way, the 3-month container is how we can really go in. So if you're considering that, I would do the life force reading. And then if you experience that and you're like, oh God, yes, like, let's fucking go. Then we can talk about rolling you into the mentorship. What happens when you think you've attracted someone or something who you know and feel is aligned, but things suddenly fall apart? Knowing that we call all of our experiences to us, is this a circuit issue? So the first thing that comes to mind when I hear this is soul contracts. Not everyone and everything is meant to last forever. It might be showing you something about your attachment style. Now, without digging into your circuit, I won't be able to give you very specific answers. But it could be that that person or that experience is mirroring something within you that is kind of highlighting for you to look at. Or it could be that, yes, that was aligned. It's just not aligned forever. And like mission accomplished, soul contract complete. Great. Next. Do you have any recommendations for your journeys to help clear blocks from the body or life force to flow? Oh, you're in the membership, aren't you, Zoe? Is that what you're asking about? Where is Zoe? Why can't I see y'all? Okay. In the membership, what is in the membership? There's so many journeys there. So one, this journey that we did, the life force through your power circuit that will be spliced out and added to the membership, that's the one that I would do. Oh, you're in Soul Evolution. Okay. Soul Evolution is the intuitive development and self-healing course, like immersion. For that one to help clear blocks from the body, I would have to go back and look through that program. Email me and I'll look at it and then I can reply to you. Oh, hey, see your face.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Recently, I've noticed I'm holding back or censoring myself when speaking or in getting my healing work and physical art out into the world. Is this a symptom of blocked or expanding or ascending sexual life force energy? So as far as censoring yourself when speaking, the throat is between the heart and the mind. So there's probably something in combination between the heart and the mind where you're kind of closing down your voice a little bit. Either you're filtering because you fear being judged, or you fear not being received, or somehow your self-worth is tied to your message or to what you're offering in the world. So you really fear it being shut down or not received. As far as getting your work out into the world, that could be a lot of different things. I'd have to trace it for you specifically. There's not like an overarching answer there. Usually this comes down to self-worth, fear, shame, fear of owning our power. That's our biggest fear, is owning our power. The responsibility that comes with it, the potential judgment that'll come with it from people who are not in their power, people not understanding it because most people aren't in their full sovereign power. There's a lot of fear just around being powerful, or we don't trust ourselves in our own power. All of this can be located within your power circuit because it's where you're not fully in your power or you're plugging into something else. Thank you so much. You are welcome, Cassia. That's a beautiful name. How do we feel if something is resistance or if it's really not the time for something right now? Okay, I'll let this be the final question. Usually resistance is of the mind. Or of your nervous system, because you don't feel safe, you don't feel comfortable. For example, for a life force redo, etc. I'm not sure what that means. But for the initial question, usually if we have resistance to something, we're avoiding feeling something. I was talking to somebody this morning. She's a super powerful healer, works with very high power, influential people. And she's trying to raise her prices because she just doesn't feel that it's fully reciprocal. She's time to expand. And she's like, how do I do this? I don't feel comfortable. I'm over explaining myself. And that comes down to, so she has resistance. She's feeling resistance in stating her price. She's feeling resistance in increasing her offers. She's feeling resistance to feeling something. So when we trace that, we found, oh, well, she's resisting feeling not good enough. She's resisting somebody saying no to the new offer, the new price, and her feeling not good enough or like a failure or shame. So usually where there's resistance, it's something mental, trying to protect us from feeling something. Whereas if it's just not aligned, it's not that there's resistance, you're just flowing in a different direction. Like, feel the difference of the energy. Resistance is like hitting up against something versus being redirected away from something. And so part of it is just tuning in and getting real with yourself about what's happening in your internal world. Which again comes down to your power circuit. Okay. Thank you. See you Monday or Tuesday or whenever I schedule. Yes, I'll see you soon. Sabrina, how fun. Oh, sorry, there's a question. Oh, if you're feeling resistance to do the one-on-one. Okay. Yes, I feel the difference. At least I can imagine it. Okay, cool. If you have questions or resistance, like bring it to me. I won't convince you to do anything. I'll tell you very honestly if I feel like this is a fit or not. So don't be afraid to have a conversation with me. If you want to do this but feel some resistance, sometimes that's a price resistance or investment, or I'm scared to invest. Is this going to give me what I want? Is this an aligned investment for me? So I'm happy to talk through that with you about any of these offers. Okay. Thank you for being here. Thank you for receiving this. Thank you for being in this with me. Thank you for stepping into your power, into your next generation of leadership in your own life and in the world. I see you. I feel you. I appreciate you. I am cheering you on. We are in this together. All my love. Bye.